And before that, I was working with a mid-sized company, Ashton. I did my BTech from JMIT. A lot of you guys might or might not
Yeah,
have heard of it. So, how about you, Rajat?
cool. Thanks for the intro. Myself Rajat. So right now I'm having total of 5 years of experience. So I started with like Lotus Interworks. It's a like as a data scientist, but after that like I switched to Hastin only. And after that like I went to and right now I'm working as like a software engineer to in Intuit. So it's like a US public US MNC only, and the tech stacks that the connection.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. So are you, I'm audible, guys? Cool, cool. Okay. So cool. We can talk about the Python bootcamp. So we'll be starting it. So this is our day one. We'll be like covering our basic concept of Python. Like we can have like normal basic concepts like for loop and while loop and what are the what is Python basically? We use Python and what is the importance of Python in coding competitions basically. Okay. So we'll be going with that, and after that like we have following sessions also where we have already given you that basically the topics which we're discussing in the later on, basically that bootcamp or courses basically. Okay, so cool. I think like Mayank, I think it's 9:12 now. We can probably start if everybody has joined. Like, can you give us a heads up? Like, we can start or what?
Yeah, you can start. You can start. 185 people have
Okay,
joined
cool.
us.
If anybody is not joined right now, so we'll probably like we are sharing the recordings also. So
Yeah,
they
I
can see the recording. Okay, cool. So like just okay, man. Cool, man. Thanks. So before starting, like I just want to check up with the guys. Like I think Mayank has shared some basic setup video of like PyCharm. Have you like set up your PyCharm video? Uh, have you set up PyCharm software? So I'll tell you about like what we will be doing in this course right now. We'll be sharing our screen. We have already set up our PyCharm. So we'll be like compiling all the code of Python, but we'll be teaching to you guys. So what we will do, like we will go concept by concept. We will tell you what it is and how where it is used, and so it's a beginner course only. So we'll be covering like every basic details also, and I know like there will be persons like who are not who have probably know Python, who does basic coding or who are advanced also, but it's fine. Like we have to like take care of all the people, so like we'll be going with the basic details, every basic details. Okay, cool. I think like Mohit, we can start, you know?
Yeah.
I think okay.
So, guys, basically, we'll be starting with Python only, and many of you will be wondering that we have been studying C, C++, or Java in our college, basically semester classes, and still we are yet adding another language that is Python to the course. So, to be very frank, whenever you guys are going to the interviews, Python is a language that is very easy. Basically, for even if you are a beginner, then it is very easy for you to grasp. And the other thing is, once you go into the interview, it saves you a lot of time when you have to write the code. So it gives you plenty of time to think about what you want to basically write and how you want to solve the problem. So if you go with Java, if you go with C++, so there are a lot of data structures or everything, a lot of inbuilt library functions that you might not have in Java or Python. Basically, sorry, Java and C++. But in Python, you will have a lot of functionality already inbuilt. So you can directly use that and take it to your advantage so that you don't waste a lot of time doing, writing the same thing that you can basically get out directly out of a built-in function. So a lot of you might be thinking that a lot of companies don't allow you to basically use the built-in functionality or things like that. So to be very frank, so if someone is asking you to write a quick sort or merge sort, then obviously they don't want you to use Python dot sort method, right? Then it is expected you to know the functionality of that sort, not that. But if a problem is about solving another task, and in that task there is a sub part that requires sorting of the array or something like that, then you can definitely use that sort method. So in that times, it will help you directly save a lot of time. So that's why I'm not against Java or C++. If you guys are proficient and you think you are able to solve that problem, or you are able to quickly write that code up in the interview, then definitely you can go ahead with that languages also. But just if you are a beginner and you are thinking that, okay, I want to start then I will definitely suggest then Python is a good way to basically save a lot of time while the interviews. So to like what is Python? Python basically is a object-oriented language itself. You can create classes, you can create objects, you can do every functionality that C++ or Java will provide you. So I mean, there are trade-offs. Like Java might provide you something more interesting. There are sometimes Java has some library or Python doesn't, or there are sometimes if you want to let's say go ahead with the data scientist career, then NumPy, Pandas, these are the libraries that Python is making use, right? But you can't do the same thing in Java, right? You don't have a NumPy or Pandas. You will have a library, but it is not that extensive as Python's. So you can't do everything in Java. So there are trade-offs here and there. But to be frank, while you are interviewing, your main focus should be on solving the problem and how quickly you can come up to the solution and how quickly you can write the solution. So
Well, I think we can share the screen, and we can start with the basic questions. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So let me just share my screen and we will go over the very basics first.
You can add the query here also.
Also, guys, I know this option to basically send a message and uh, basically speak up is muted because the size of the video and people response was very good. A lot
Yeah.
of people have joined, so it will be very difficult to basically tell you
Take queries in between.
take queries in between, and there will be a lot of noise and everything. So I have shared this Google Doc where you can during the whole basically today's session or in tomorrow session, or you have any query, you can basically write that a query, and tomorrow basically or after today's session we will basically get back to the queries, and in between also we'll keep on checking if you have any issues what you are not if you are not able to understand or something like that. Okay.
We'll try actually, probably actually this meeting size is very big. I'm not sure, we're not sure that we'll be taking up all the queries, but for the best experience, for the best experience, we wanted that, it's good for you that the noise should not be there. So that's why, we have this
Basically muted these settings.
And you can probably share your queries on this Google Doc, and probably I think Mohit, we can start
Sure.
with the session. I think
So
probably yes.
guys, I think you might already have basically downloaded the
This
PyCharm, and if you have not, then there is already a link for YouTube video that we have already shared out, and you can set it up. And after that, if you guys have not set up anything, I can just quickly show you how you can uh, basically do it. So what you can do is, let's say if you have any you want to create a new project, so you can create a new project. So when you open your IntelliJ, you will kind of see a screen like this, and you can give it any project name, and this is the location where your project will be saved. And this is the interpreter is kind of a virtual environment. Just a brief introduction about the virtual environment. Virtual environment is I'll just give you examples so it will be easy for you guys to understand. So let's say you have Python in your system, and now you want to create a project. So your project might require different libraries that are present in Python, but you don't need all those libraries in your local system, right? So how do you manage such thing that your project has those libraries, but your local system is not cluttered with all those libraries? So that is where basically virtual environments comes in and helps us. So in this virtual environment, whatever library we install, it will be present in this virtual environment itself. It will not be present in your local system. So if I were to give you an example, so you can set it up like this, and basically you can create a project. So I have already created, but once you create it, you will basically end up right here, and you might not have this file. So what you can do is I'll just quickly delete it, and so you might end up here. And what you can do is you can basically see that a virtual environment is already there. And if you go to this third icon here that says terminal, so it will open up a terminal, and you will see that here venv is written. That means the virtual environment is activated. So just to give you guys a example, so here we had 3.1111 version that we created our project with. So if I check here that what is my Python version, right? So it is saying 3.116. Now, if I deactivate it, this virtual environment, and I check my Python version in my system, then it will say basically, so now because we have Python 3 and Python normal. So if I check that, it will show me. So I don't have no, so if you directly write Python, it directly corresponds to Python 2. And if you write Python 3, then it will correspond to Python 3. So now it will show Python 3.1.12.3. That means the local latest version that is present in my system is 3.12.3, whereas the version that is present in this virtual environment is 3.11.6. So not to get in too details, just I was just trying to give you an example so you guys would know what a virtual environment is. So whenever you guys go to a company, and if you guys are working on a Python project, you will definitely see that they have set up a virtual environment. But it will for the interviews and purposes, you will not require this. This is only for the purpose of learning, and you will not need it right away. So now you can create a file, Python main.py file. You can just second click here, and you can create a new Python file, and we can give the Python file any name. I am giving it main. Generally, whatever Python file, the main file that we run is basically named as the main file. So whenever we are running any server or anything, then we give it a name as main file. So I am giving it a file name main. Now I'm going to explain you guys in detail. I'm assuming that none of you knows Python, but even if you know, that is a very good thing. But if you don't know, then I'll just
We'll be covering all.
yeah, I'll be covering from scratch. So if you don't know, so Mayank, yes, Visual Studio will also work fine. There is no issue in that. Compiler, you can choose any compiler, but whenever you will go to any company, you will definitely see that all of them are using PyCharm. There can be company, any company also, they don't have any limitation to any of the ID. You can use any ID, whatever you prefer. But most of the companies are using PyCharm. But I have seen a lot of companies who are using JavaScripts or Angular or Node.js. They are using basically Visual Studio only. So
I think
so we will start the session. And first thing I'm basically I'll tell you about is the what are the different variables and data types that we have in Python. So the basic data types that we already know are so if from any language if I pick so let's say we have string, then we have integer, right? And then we have float. Then if we if I go with the C and C++ language, then we have arrays, right? And so we have array and everything, right? So to how you can basically do all these things in Python, right? So what we are going to do is basically let's start basic thing. How do you print a string in Python? That is a or before that also, Python is a very dynamic semantics. It doesn't have fixed in semantics. By semantics, what do I mean is, so in C, you will write int, and then you will say a variable name, and then you will assign it any value. So if I give you example, in C, you will do something like int a, and you will say it has value 2, right? And something like this you will do in C and C++, both of them, right? Now if I were to tell you, Python doesn't know. So this int is a semantic that you are telling that a will be an integer. Now Python does not have any semantics. You can dynamically write anything. So if I want to write a is equal to 2, then it is fine. If I want to write a is equal to, let's say, hello, then also it's fine. If I want to write a is equal to 1.0, that is a float value, then also it's fine. If I want to give it an array itself, let's say a is an array. So in Python, you write array in basically closed brackets, closed square brackets. So if I give 1, 2, 3, there also, then also it's fine. So how, and you might say is it working or not, right? So you can, so in C, what you do is printf, right? And C++, you are doing C out, and Java, you are doing system out println, right? So for Python, we have the simple command that is print. You don't have to write anything else. So you just write print, and that's it. So
Sorry,
yeah,
Mohit. Just one question. I think like people are getting issues. Can we zoom in the screen like a bit, if it is possible?
just a
Can
second.
go to the screen? I think this works. This works. So you can zoom in the font also. Just scroll down on the left.
6 seconds. Now is it fine, guys?
I think we can. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
So now some of you people might be wondering that how do you run all these things? So let's say if I were to print, so now if you put a hashtag in any of the lines in Python, it comments that line out. You don't need to worry about that. Now, if I just go to the terminal uh, and if I go to the terminal, I will see that, okay, I can run the Python file from here also, but if you see, it is saying current file here. If all of you guys are using PyCharm, then you will see, and other compilers also might have provided you this. So if you run it directly from here, then you will see, okay, 2 is printed here, and 2 is printed here. So you can see that 2 will be present here, right? Now, if any of you guys who are not basically running this PyCharm or anything else, then also what you can do is you can run this file directly from here. So now if you run this file, the main.py file that we just created, you will see it is running these statements. The 2 is printed here. You can see that, right? So, so this is the basic thing that you can see. Now I'll just show you we'll be printing it from here only. Now, if I were to uncomment these lines and similarly print all these statements one by one, so I am reassigning the integer a again and again. So if I run this file, so now you will see that first it has printed 2, then it has printed hello, then it has printed 1.0, that is a float integer, and then it has printed the whole array itself. So there
Just
are
sorry. So just to add on, like what they will Python like is a dynamic language, so it will infer on the go only. Like it will infer the data type of that variable on the go. Okay.
correct. So a lot of you guys might be wondering, how will you know what data type it is, right? So if I just do a type here, then Python will show you what is the data type, what is the class here. So if you see here, it is showing you that 2 is an integer, right? Now if I print it for everything, then also it will show me that it is a string, it is a float, and it is a type of list. So I can quickly show you guys these. So now you can see that it is an integer, it is a string, it is a float, and then it is a list, right? You can see all these things. Now we will quickly jump on a lot of data types. So these are the basic data types. I'll tell you what are the common and most used data types in Python. So you have string there, you have integer there, then you have float, you already know. Then list, if you want to understand, it is as good as array.
Yeah.
So if you in C++, Java, any language you are seeing, then it is same as array in Python. Then Python allows you a special type of this data structure, that is tuple. So by tuple, what I mean is, so if I have a list, I'll just show you by example that if I have a list like this, and I can write 1, 2, 3, right? And I can print a. Now what I will do is by indexing. So indexing always starts from 0 in Python and C also. So if I say a of 0 is equal to 4, right? Now I print a again, right? So
You can add one more value.
so uh,
Maybe.
uh, अभी के लिए तो now what we do is, so you will see in the example output that first value is replaced by 4. So you can do it. Now how do we define tuple is, let's say b is equal to a tuple. Tuple is defined by basically close brackets, but the simple close brackets, not the what do you say, is straight square brackets, not the straight square brackets, but the closed curly brackets. Now, if you write 1, 2, 3 here, and if you print B here, now what you will see is in the output, you will see 1, 2, 3 are printed in the curly brackets itself. Now, if I want to replace a value, B0 is equal to 4, now what it will do is it will show me error because this is immutable. So what do we mean by immutable is you cannot change the value of this particular space. Basically, if you define a tuple, you cannot change any value that is defined in the tuple. That cannot be changed. So that is what you mean by immutable. So immutability means you cannot change it. Whatever is present there, that will be present there. You cannot basically modify it. So, so that is the difference between tuple and the list. So in C, Java, and everywhere, Java you might see immutable array list, immutable set, but C++ you will not see this. But in Python you have a alternate where if you don't want to change the values of the array, you can use tuple. And the most widely used data type is a dictionary, and a set is there, and then a Boolean value. So Boolean is very simple, as it is mentioned by its name itself, bool, and then you can say, okay, true, false, whatever you assign. Simple as that. So I say, okay, now one more thing you want to learn Python is snake case. So you write one value, then you give an underscore, then you write the name. So this is snake case in Python. In Java, what you do is camel case. So camel case is like this. If I were to write it like this, then this is camel case. This is snake case. So now you can define it true. Now, same way, Boolean is very simple. You can define it true or you can define it false, whatever you want to define it to. Then, what about a set? Set is basically if I want to, let's say, if I want to create a, uh, how do you say, if I want to basically store a lot of data and uh, but in a single variable, then I can use list, set, tuple, anything. But how do I use it? How do I store this value? Now I can just write it like this. Let's say uh, apple, and let's say banana. Okay. Now I were to print set. Let's not name it set because
It's already a
yeah,
variable in
yeah. So
Python.
it is already a variable. I'll show you how what where we can use set directly. But let's say currently it's named ABC, right? And you can print ABC here. And let's comment this out. And if I were to run this, you can see apple, banana, all of these are there.
So there's a question from guys like, do we have like index on tuple also? Yes, you can print the like elements of the tuples as well.
So if you want to print elements of a tuple, then if I were to say print 0th element, and this, you can see that it is printing the first element. You can directly print that up, but you cannot modify it. You can definitely print it, but you cannot modify it. Now, to our current example. So, how do I change this value in ABC? If I were to change, if I want to, let's say, change this value and I want to do anything on this particular index, how do I do that? Even is there a possibility I can do that or I cannot do that? How is there a way to change it? So to answer your query, you cannot change this. Okay. So you, however, if you basically want to add anything, then you can definitely add anything to it. You, if you want to add. So I'll just show you by example. So can you guys hear me now? Quickly cover a lot of we have a lot of topics and we will quickly cover all of those. So you can define the set using the curly brackets, and in the set you cannot basically redefine any particular index. So if I were to basically run it, it will say that you cannot redefine this value. And now if I were to add any value to it, then definitely I can add, I can say ABC add, and then I can say kiwi. Now if I were to print it, it will add that value. Definitely we can add kiwi. And also it is unordered. We cannot predict its order, that okay, it does not have an index. You cannot change the order, or also you cannot update the value. So set are basically useful for those things. Let's say if I were to add ABC add and then banana again. then I will not be able to see this. I will only see it one time. How many ever times you add it, you will see this value only one time.
So basically, set as a property, like
Ah.
you'll be having unique elements only.
Yeah, so unique elements will be only there in the set. You will not have duplicate entries in a set.
Cool, I think. Like we
So
can.
last third data types is a dictionary. So how you define a dictionary is the same way you are defining a set, but here you have key value pairs. So let's say a key is key one, and then value is v1. So this is a dictionary. Okay. So in dictionary, you can have key value pairs. So if I were to print T, it will show me that K1 and V1 are there. Now, let's say if there are multiple values, K2 or V2, just a second. So you put a basically semicolon, sorry, colon there, and you have a key value pairs, and you separate them by comma. And if I print these values here, now you can see there are two values. Now, if you were to fetch any particular key, you can directly do it. You can do it key one, and if you run it, you will see only the value that is present in the K1. Now, if I were to write again K1 and V3, what do you think, guys? Should it work? It will not work. It will basically what it will do is now if I run it again, you just see the example. You will see V3 is there all the times, right?
It has overridden the previous value
Correct.
basically. So basically, your whatever the value, if you will do this, like they will not,
Correct.
there will not be any error.
Correct.
But what happens will be like your previous data will get lost. Okay, so
Correct.
it's not like a good thing or a good practice to be done on the dictionaries.
Correct. So, anyways, if you define it, there is no issue. But the problem occurs now. You had some particular data assigned to a particular place. Now you updated that value, and now the earlier data that is gone. Now you cannot access that data. So I hope.
Also, this is also not ordered dictionary, so
Correct.
you will not predict that this value will printed or or which value is being printed, either the previous one or the new one or any like any new one.
So yes, we can drop values from a set. I can show you in an example, and indexing is also there in tuple. We already told you that, and set contains only element. So it's not like that. Any of the list, any of the set, all of these can contain different type of values. There is no dynamics here that you can only define one particular value. If I want to define a ABC string here in the list itself, or if I want to define any value in the set itself, let's say if I want to define one here, I can do because it does not have any particular semantics. It is dynamic. You can define any type of value anywhere that you want to. So that is also supportive. Now, to quickly jump over to the next topic,
That is operators and
that is operators and our inputs. So what are operators? Operators are basic things that you all might have learned in C, C++, like arithmetic operators, plus, minus, divide, basically ampersand, multiply. Then you have relational operators like less than equal to, or greater than equal to. Then you have logical operators and, or, not. Then you have assignment operators. C, guys, if you have a, if I were to compare this to C, and I'll just show you. If I were to compare this to C, right? So I'll give you basic examples. So let's say A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 2, and then that I can say is print A plus B, right? Now, if I were to do this, just a second. So another important thing, you might see, I was writing code here after one space, so it is showing me errors. And if I try to compile it, then also it will show me some errors that are saying unexpected ident. Ident means that you have left some space intentionally, and that is not required, and you need to remove it. So once I remove it, the same code will work. So you need to make sure that you are giving proper spacing and you are writing the code in correct syntax. So this will work. And same thing. So this plus is your operator. Now you can do the same thing here, that a plus b, and you can print c here directly. Now it will give you the example. Now for minus, same thing, multiply, divide, ampersand, whatever you want to do, you can run the same operation. Now to give you example of other than this, the assignment operators. So some of you guys might have read this in C++, that we used to do C++ to basically increment a variable. And in C, there was also this option. You can do it like this also. So Python also supports this kind of values. So what I will do is I'll say a plus equal to 1. I'll say b plus equal to 1. And then I'll say c equal to a plus b plus, right. Now if you guys see, it will this is not an error, it will just show you that you should give some space for readability purposes. So if I give a space here, it will go away and you can write cleaner code. It will be easier to read, and anybody can easily read this, right. Now if I were to basically do this, you will see earlier the value of a was 1. We added plus 1 to a again. The value of b was 2. We added plus 1 to b again. Then it says 2 plus 3. That will give you 5. That is our answer. So these are arithmetic operators basically. Now for logical and relational operators, we will just go and basically learn about this if else and conditions. There we will see how we can put the conditions there. Now if I were to show you if, so condition here, let's say a and b are still our values. I'll just copy that from there and here. So a and b are still our values. If I say a less than b, then print uh, is less, else print b is greater, right. So now, now we don't need to put any brackets or anything. You write a condition, then you give a colon, and then in the next line, you give a tab of indentation. If you don't give, then automatically it will come here because it knows it needs this proper indentation. And then in the else statement, we are saying this thing. So if I were to run this, you will see in the example a is less. So obviously a value of a is 1. Now if I were to give 4, now it will print basically b is greater. Now if I were to give you an example of and or operators. Now if I'll say if a is less than b and b should be greater than 0, right. So this condition, obviously it's false. Now definitely it will not check this one because this one is false and we have and here. Other, if I put a or here, so in C, or you guys must be doing for or you are doing this, right? Here you can directly write or, and in and you are doing this. Here you can directly write and. You don't need to write create that ampersand symbol or that pipe symbol. You can directly write and or, and it will work fine. If I write or here, so is a less than b? 4 is less than 2? No, definitely not. Is b greater than 0? 2 is greater than 0? Correct. So one of condition is true, so it will print a is less. Although it is a wrong statement in this, yes. So it will say, it will print this statement. So if I were to put and here, now it will run. So it will say b is greater because this condition failed and it definitely jumped to the else part and it is running this here. So that is pretty much about the operators that you would want to know about. And some other operators, the basic operators, if a is equal to b, then you do something, right. B is greater because A is not equal to B. Now, if you say A is not equal to B, so this is not equal to symbol, then you can basically see A is less because not equal. You print this statement. Now, other than this simple or less than equal to or greater than equal to, so all the basically relational operators, you can try it out. They are going to work in the same manner. Okay.
I think
Now,
you can like tell them how to give an input in a variable. A is equal to input something.
sure, we can cover that part.
Just tell them the
Uh,
syntax at least.
sure. So, what we'll do is, so Rajat, why don't you cover for and while loops,
Sure.
and basically then we can start it.
Okay. Cool. You can.
So guys, now Rajat will be covering basically the for loops and the while loops, and how do you basically write the loops? What are
Okay.
the different ways to write the for loops or the while loop, and all these things he's going to cover it.
Okay. So guys, like you have already gone through how to write a if statement, okay. So there can be like if else statement also. So suppose I can tell you like nested if else if you have to write multiple if else, not nested one, like it can be complex for now. So multiple if else you can have. So I can tell you like how to write this one. Like so suppose if suppose you have two, three variables, A equal to 1, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to 3. Okay. So we can have a check if it is A less than B. So we can print something temp, okay. And LF you can have something. No, I'll do it. Okay. 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 B is good. Okay. B is greater. Sorry for this. And we can have like if we have to write like our next statement of if only, so we can have a elif state, okay, elif block, elif. Now we can have like another statement if B is less than C, so it will be something like then what we say, okay, C is greater, so something like that we can write it multiple if else, okay. And else will be like a default statement what we can write if B is not, like there can be multiple statements, but just like giving a gist of you like how we can write a multiple if else, okay. Does is greater. So okay. So this is something like we can have multiple labels, how we can write. Okay. And coming down to the next thing. So we have for loops now. Okay. How we write for loops in Python. So let me define some list. As we've already told you like how to write a list. Okay, how to define a list in Python. Suppose list is define it by x is equal to it has 4 elements. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now you want to if you want to run a for loop on this list, how we will define that? For I is the iterator in n as in like basically in this list, and we have to give the range, okay. So if it does not give, so it has 2 3 elements, okay. In this function we can give 2 3 elements. So 0 okay, I'll give you a definition. Starting index, starting index, okay, end index, and okay, so let's talk about this only for now. So if it does not give any starting index, it will probably like it will take automatically as 0 only. So we'll probably give only the end index, okay. So end index will be whatever the length, okay. So there is one more function I can tell you about. So in Python, like if suppose there is a list x, and if you want to find what is the length of this list, so what we can do, there is a function called lenx, okay. There is a function len, and in that you can pass the parameter as x, what is the list, and probably using this, like you'll be able to find out what is the length. I can probably run this also, and it will be like, yeah, good only. So if you run this, probably you'll be able to find out. Yes, the length is 4, and yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 elements. So like how you can find the length of the list, and now we can see how to run a for loop. Okay, so now what this statement means, we are traversing a for loop. I is a iterator which will iterate on every element of x. First, first it will start from 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and the indexing is like basically it will start from 0 only. And what is the range? Like from where to where you want to traverse the for loop. Okay, so we have given the complete range. Basically, traverse on the full length of x. X is this list only. Okay, so now what you will do, if you will print this x, so let's see what it will print. So what it is printing. Okay, so we are printing x only, but since the iterator was I, so we have to tell that we have to print x of I. Okay, so now if you see, it is printed that element 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay, basically every element like at once. First, I can write this. I can show you this, like what is the I values also. So you'll be able to probably grasp like the good thing. Okay, more good way, it will be this only. So you can see the I value. So we have printed first I, then x of I value 0. So it has started from this element, 0th element. What was the value x of I? 1. So it has printed 1. Like this, the next index 1, the next element 2, then 2, then 3, then 3 and 4. So like that, like we traverse a for loop on this. So now there is one more kind of a for loop. Suppose this is like we were traversing the for loop on the range of the x. Now traversing by items. How to do that? Okay, so suppose we have already x defined, we can take this x downside. Would be good. uh, just bear with me my typing. Now, if you want to iterate on the items, how will you do that? Suppose like I is the iterator again for I in X. Okay, so I'll tell you the difference. Previously, what we have written for I in range. Okay, range is basically what it will take. It will take a length, like from where to where. Okay, now what we are doing for I in X. Now X is basically it will traverse this list only. It will traverse on this list only. Okay, it will pick the element only. It will not iterate by that indexing. Okay, that I element iterator. It will directly take that list element only. So if I print this I only, now previously it was printing the index. Now if I print this I, you will see like it will print the element directly. If I'll see, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 only. The element itself is printed. So this is like two types of for loop that is used. And okay, so we can have a while loop also. Like how we define a while loop. Okay, we can take the similar example of x only. X is equal to this. Now if we define a while loop, so okay, so now in for loop, what is the difference in while loop and for loop? For loop also like traverses the list or any of the data type. While loop also is like used to traverse on the list. Okay, but in while loop, what we have is like it does not have a iterator of it itself. We have to define, we have to give a iterator. Okay, for explicitly. Suppose we have given an iterator I've taken an iterator as I. Okay, and we have defined a while function. And iterator is basically, now what is the constraint? Constraint is I. It should be less than, because we have to traverse it on the complete length, so it should be less than x. Okay, and now if it is so till whenever it will follow this constraint, it will print out that particular element, and I can print that index also and the element also. Eh, okay, but the thing is like, okay, I'll show you. There's a difference. So suppose if I do this, if I print this only, so what you will think, what will happen? See, it is an infinite loop. Okay, because uh, I'm not incrementing this I operator. So if I do this plus is equal to 1, then only like I'll be first 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. Then it will fulfill this condition. When it will not fulfill this condition, the while loop will break. And now if you will see, you can see the same output, the index and the element. Cool. I think this is like about the while loop. Uh, okay. So I can tell you, I can write here also. This is while loop. So I can take the same example. I can go down. I can have something more. Okay. So probably like you've already seen what is list. List is this only, how we define this. And what is tuple? We've already defined that also. Tuple is whatever it is in this normal parenthesis. It is like tuple. Okay. Probably not giving the same variable. It will show issues. So I've given as a x. Okay. Now there is one thing also, like if you want to define, if you want to convert, so there are like Python is very like easygoing language. You can change that data types also. So suppose if there is, that is a list, now you don't want that list to be converted. Now you don't want that list to be converted. Basically you want you want to make that list as immutable. Okay, so what you can do is that you can pass that through a tuple function, that x, and what it will do, it will become like a that immutable, it will become a tuple only. Okay, it will become immutable, that list will become immutable. Okay, cool. I think this is also fine, and we have covered that iteration. Okay, so now there's a like one interesting topic that I like the most, slicing in Python. Okay, so what happens is like in this, like, okay, so we have a string. Okay, we'll not go with this name, probably we'll take x only. Okay, yep. So before that, like I'll define what is string and what are its methods, and then we'll go with the slicing also. Okay, so basically like covering the string part of Python. So string is basically now normally you can define my name is Rajat, so like we are defining x is equal to Rajat or name is equal to Rajat. Okay, so this is like we have defined a string. We can print it this also. We can print this also. I think Mohit has already covered this thing. Like probably it will print that classes str. Okay, in this case. Now we can have some methods also over this one. Just 1 minute, guys. It has some methods like okay. So I'll show you the functionality of this PyCharm also. So if you want to see what is the different methods, so name dot you can see. So it will show what are the different method you can use on that. Okay. So you can see like index, format, find, join. There are many other methods you can basically explore. Case, hold, center, encode. So these all comes with the string operation, string operand only. Now, as long as you have defined this name is equal to Rajat, I think this PyCharm or this compiler knows that it's not a compiler, it's an interpreter, but yeah, this IDE knows it that it is a string, and whenever you do a dot, it will show all the related functions to it. Okay, so now you can like go through all these functions. If you want to replace a string, like replace a string, you have to remove a prefix. You have to find something from the string, so you can like explore these all these functions. Okay. I can basically okay. Let me show you one of the thing. Probably this is alpha. We can go with this is alpha. Okay, let me see what it will is alpha. Okay, so is what I'll tell you what is alpha means. Is alpha means alpha is alphanumeric. Okay, so alphanumeric or alphabetical, actually alphabetical only. Yes, alphabetical only. So it should show as true probably in this case, because this Rajat is complete alphabetical. Yes, it is a true. And if I 1 2 3, if I do this, let's see what will be the result. It is false because it has numeric that variables in this. Okay, so this is some of the like some things related to Python functions. I can probably comment this. We can have now slicing also. Okay, so there are many other methods also like in string, like probably like it is a very good data type, data structure you can say in this. Like okay, so I can tell you like some different methods. If you want to uppercase all the elements, so this is the method you can join. Now there is a join function also. So I'll show you just example, not an example, just I'll show you just suppose this is 1 2 3 4. This is a list. Okay. Now what you want to do? You want to make a list. You want to make it as a string. Okay. So you can have this function, this dot join. Okay, so this is the separator basically. How you will join that string? Okay, 1 2 3 will you will join like with no spaces. Okay, now what you are joining, in joining you have to give this like whatever the data type it is, x. Okay, So what it will make? It will make this 1, 2, 3, 4 only. Okay. So I think like this works. Uh, should we run this? Okay. I'm doing that. Just completing this. Sorry guys, bear with my typing skills. Okay. I think we can comment this. This X is fine. It so okay. We have to do this also. Let's see what it will give. It will give error or whatever. Sorry. Let me make it as a string. Yeah, I think this should work. Yeah, like yeah, you can see like say 1, 2, 3, 4. It has so basically it has like different type of functions. You can go through this. There is upper also, like I can go make you go through that also. So I'm going a little bit fast as we have very less time left. So just showing you a gist of it. Is upper if we go is upper is a function. So I usually don't remember the function. I just search it like by doing a dot operator and I search it if that exists or not. So generally it exists. Okay. We do this. Okay. So this was a name is upper. So we are checking. Okay. So Rajat is all has like all the lowercase letters only. So what we are doing, we are using this function. It has like a like uppercase elements also. It does not. So that's why like it is given false. Okay. So this is one. I think like we can go move to slicing part. I'll show you basic slicing, like how we do in Python. Okay. So suppose name again Rajat. This is a string. What I can do is I can print name. So okay, so there is like okay, so there is again with that range. What is starting index? Starting index. Okay, and here what we put is a ending index. Okay, what I can do, I can define this. Probably I can change this only. It will help us to see what will be the output. Okay. Suppose like I go with this. Now what Rajat has 5 elements. So the indexing will be 0 to 4. Okay. So what I want to print all the characters of this name from 0 to 3. Okay. Now let me run this. What it will return. Okay. So as we see, it has given us the first 3 elements REJ. Okay. So likewise, we can have the starting from 1 to 4 or 1 to the maximum 1 to index 4. Okay, so let's see what will be the elements AJ. So as the indexing was starting from 0, it has taken from 1. Okay, and it has gone till 4. And the ending index that you will give, it will not include in this. Okay, that will be the last element. Cool. I think this is so. This is how we do a slicing. So there is more to slice. There is more to. There are more things which we can do in slicing. You can reverse the string also. I think like if I'm not sure, I'm just trying on this. If I do this colon minus, I'm not giving any starting index. I'm not giving any ending index. So there is a last variable also which we can provide. Okay, I'm trying on this. What will be the output? I'm not sure. Let's see. See. TAGAR. So it has done, it has reversed that complete string. Okay. So these are some things that you can like do in this strings. Okay. So it will help you probably like with the basic computations you can all do like using the slicing things. Okay. I think we are left with some two, three, two, three topics. Mohit can cover the topics from now. Yeah.
Hi guys. So, like Rajat told you, so we have string here, and in string basically you can give any starting index, any index, and then if you want to reverse a string, then you can provide basically. So in Python, you it does support negative indexing. So here, if you provide a negative index, then what it will do is it will keep on from the last. It will keep on subtracting -1. So if I am present at, let's say, if this has index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I am present at 4, if first it will print 4th T, then it will subtract -1. It will come to A, then it will subtract -1. It will come to J, and then A, and then A. So that's how you get the basically
The reverse.
the reverse. If I were to do a -2 here, so now what will happen is you saw R here, then J here, then T here, right? Now, same case, if you were to do -3, then it will only print J because, sorry, not
and
J, first T, then A, because we are doing,
So we're starting from that, and
correct.
after that we are jumping 3 elements.
Basically, yes. So basically, this is the amount that you are going to minus from the last element, and then you come to the element that is present here. Okay.
And minus denotes the you are traversing in the reverse. Okay.
Correct. So now, guys, I think uh, I think there are a lot of functions. There are a lot of things that you can basically cover in strings. String is a very vast topic. There are a lot of methods, a lot of functions, a lot of things are there that you can cover. So what we will do is we will give you guys some of the most used methods that are getting used while you do competitive programming or you're going for an interview. So not all of the methods are getting used, but there are a lot of common methods that do get used. So we will provide you with those methods, and we will provide you basically how you can basically run an example on that, and you can see the output. What does that method? But basically, what is the functionality of that method? So just to cover some of this topic, now what we'll do is some of the most asked questions do comes. What is the count of a particular letter? What is the count of a particular string in particular array? So if I were to give you a list, let's say hello, and then let's say world, let's say then one is there, and let's say then hello is here again. Now if I were to say what is the count of word hello? Okay. Now, if I were to print it, so the output should be 2 because it has come 2 times, right? So now you can see that output is 2. Now, if I were to do the same thing with a word, it will show me 1, correct? Now, if I were just to write 1 here, what is the count of 1? Then also it will show me, okay, so it is a little bit, might not be easy for you. Let's say 55 here, 55 here. And let's see the output. It is 1, right? So it shows you that 55 is present 1 time, right? So now if I were to combine this with earlier knowledge that we have used, so if the count of 55 is equal to 1, then I need to print uh, I found 55, right? Now if I were to run this, see, you will see that how conditions are working with the your current data, right? So you have this list, and now you have 55. Now you see okay is equal to 1, and then you print something. If I say is equal to 2, then it will not print anything because now we don't have it is not satisfying that condition, right? Now similarly, if you were had a dictionary example, you could have done the same thing. You could have said that. So here, like I earlier told you, you will see a simple yellow color line showing you that okay, missing white space, right? You can read it here. So if you were to give a white space, it will go away. And basically, now if you give it at both spaces, then it will show you that okay, here it is not required, but after this you have to give it one time. Now similarly, if I were to basically give a value here, now the value can be, let's say, 55 here. Now is equal to 1, and dictionary, uh, now let's say k2 uh, is equal to 55. Now if 55 is present one time in this list and the value of this key is equal to 55, then only you print this. So it says okay, I found this, now I'm printing it. Now if I were to say, let's say k3, now what do you think guys will happen? It will break because we don't have k3. So here you have this exception that oh, there was no value. So what you could have done is, first you check if there is value present or not. So how do you check that? uh, if I were to give you a simple example on top of it, I'll say ki if k3 uh, in D, that means it is asking if k3 value, it is only checking for values. It is saying if k3 is in D, then you do something. Now if I were to combine this with the earlier example that we were going with, if I were to combine it here, I'll say ki and k3 in D, and so I am placing this statement before this one, so it checks it first then goes here. Okay, if I run it now, it will not throw me error. But if I were to do the opposite thing, if I were to print it here and if I were to print it there, now what it will do is it will first try to compare it, then it will try to check either a value is present or not. Doesn't make any sense, right? So you check the value, if the value is present there or not, then basically if key is present there or not, then you check the value. So now if I were to run this, it will give me the same error because now it will not even reach this statement. So you place it here and you run it like this.
So this is a very basic technique how you handle your null pointer exceptions,
Correct.
or like in companies. And this is a very basic comment, like what you will get in the code reviews.
Correct. So now, uh, now I want you guys to basically understand how you. So this is a very common scenario that you could have handled, right? Now, if I were to, let's say I don't have anything, I don't have anything. Now I'm trying to write something. Let's say, for example, if I were to just give you an example here, print x, right? Now it will, obviously we don't have x defined. It will say, okay, x is not defined. What are you trying to do, right? X does not have any value. Now, whenever you are writing code, you might be expecting that this value will be coming from somewhere. So if I had a function, let's say if I had a function that is getting x value, so we will be covering functions and everything tomorrow. But just to give you a gist, if you have a function, you can define the functions in Python. Let's not go
Let's
ahead
not
with
define
that.
that. Huh.
So let's say if you were expecting that x, you were expecting that x should be defined here,
But it
x
is
should
not.
be 3, but due to some scenario, you commented it out, or somebody deleted the code, or something happened, and then you ran the code. So obviously you will get some these kind of errors. So now if I want key, even if somebody else commented the code, even if this value was supposed to come from somewhere, and even if I don't receive that value, then how do I handle it? So for handling that, we have a try and except scenario. So in C++, you will see try and catch and all these things, right? So now if I do except here, so now I can directly print that an exception, or maybe a proper, uh, you know, you can write a proper exception. if you know exactly what will happen. So now see what how that made your code a little bit cleaner and understandable. So now if you didn't had this, if you were just trying to do a print, then you will get this kind of a error, which is not that readable. And if you have written the code, somebody else might not understand, or they don't have the context. But if you have written something specific, an exception occurred because x is not present, right? Because value of x is not present.
Double
So now if you run it, if anybody runs this and this code were to break, he will know, okay, why has the code not or is not working? It is saying because the exception has occurred, right? Now, to now you can what you can do is basically you can define all these. If you want, you can have a exact exception also defined here. If you know what are the exceptions going to be.
Hmm.
So except means you can it will catch every exception, whatever issue happens here. So if I were to, let's say, even if x was defined, let's say, right now, if I run it, it will print 3. That is fine, perfectly fine. Now if I were to say another value d, that is x divided by 0. Right. Now, if I try to print x, now obviously, so it will say, okay, exception occurred. Now, you know, x is defined. If I were to define x here itself, x was defined in this. It was dividing 0, and you definitely know it is going to throw you error. So now what you can do is 0 division error. So it will only catch it when you have specifically error because of division by 0. So if I run it, it will catch it. Now, if I don't have the x defined itself, it will not catch it because the error itself is different. Now we have told this thing that only catch the error when you think that 0 division is error is there. So these things are already defined by Python. These exceptions, the common exceptions, common errors, all of these are defined by Python itself. There is a long list of it. You can basically use them accordingly. So, but in any scenario, if you think you don't know which error or how do you go about it, then you directly write except, it catches all of them. Any exception, any error, it will catch it.
It's a default exception.
Yeah. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And just to give you an example, what are so there is a term known as local variables, and then there is a term known as global variables. So how do you basically define local variables? How do you define global variables? So if I were
Probably, but Mohit, I think like we can cover this topic, global and local variable, in next topic because it needs function like
yeah, definitely.
it will function to create a function context. It's that.
Correct, correct. So maybe
Probably let,
yeah.
we'll include this topic in tomorrow's discussion.
Yeah, so more because we will need a function definition to basically define how you define global variables, how you define local variables. So that will require functions. So because that will tell you the scope of the variable. So scope is the main thing that defines a variable as a local or a global variable. So once we introduce you to functions, then we can definitely tell you how you can define local and global variables. So I think, guys,
I think
that's
it's
pretty much
already
it.
10:24.
That's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys understood. And if you have questions or if you have any doubts, I have tried to basically uh, answer a lot whatever questions you have asked in the sheet. But even after that, if you have any queries, do drop a query in the sheet, and basically I'll get back to you, and I'll basically reply to you in the sheet. I'll give you example how you can try it, how you can run it. So you can just so multiple exceptions is the same thing. If you want to handle multiple exceptions, you just write multiple exceptions. So instead of writing only one value, you can write multiple values in Python. I can show you that. Just a second. So if I were to show you, let's say, I'll try to give you an example in this one only, so that it doesn't.
And that was fine. Like x divided by 0,
Yeah.
0 division and the other one.
Yeah, so we can define it here, and 0 division, 0 div error, right? And if I were to write this in another exception, now if somebody asks, I'm not sure who asked it, but if we were to define another exception, you just write it like this, another except statement, and you write it this way. Now what will happen is,
If you define x, then
so if you do this, then obviously it is x is not defined, so it is coming to this except part. If x is defined, let's say x is equal to 3, then it will come to the 0 div error. So in this way, you can define multiple errors. I have so there are various other exceptions that you can define here, but I have given you this example only so that you don't get confused a lot with this. But you can handle multiple exceptions with this. So I hope, guys, that makes sense to you, and do drop the questions if you have questions, and if what we have taught you, you are not able to work it out, do drop what you did and what is the result that you got, and basically I'll provide you with the example or how you can try it out. So we'll definitely try to help you.
cool. Then I think, guys, this is it for today.
Guys, yeah, that's pretty much it for today.
Probably like you can cover all this. Like you can go through the. We'll share the recording as soon as possible, and like you can go through this. Go through this recording. You can cover all this concept. Like do a hands-on before the next topic, and probably like we'll cover functions tomorrow. Okay, you can like, check the
And
channel.
just, I'm not sure if you guys are interested, but if you guys want us to provide you this exact
Sheet
Python
also.
sheet where you have exact examples written, we can provide you this exact file also. If you are interested, then you can do it. But I'll suggest that you try it on your own and you can refer it. If we will definitely share it, but you can refer it if you find any issues. But don't just run this file itself, otherwise you won't learn anything.
Cool, I think.
Cool, Mayank. I think that's it for today.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. And thank you, everyone, for being with us. And surely we will get the sheet soon.
Okay.
And,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
and we will also share you a feedback kind of form, and you can give us the feedback in the group also. Improve the things in the next lecture.
Cool, cool. Okay.
And you will get the better thing from us in the next classes.
Thank you, guys.
See you all tomorrow.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.